Greetings and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. In a world that never stops moving, where every moment is filled with noise and flurry, we pause today to explore a silent force that subtly shapes our lives. This force, known as sloth, is often misunderstood. Together, let us delve deep into its true nature, unveiling how it affects not just our actions, but our very spirit. Join me on a journey through the layers of modern life, discovering how the sedative of ceaseless activity and the lure of material excess can lead us away from our true essence. Let us embark on a quest to awaken from this slumber, to reclaim the vibrant vitality of our inner selves. In a world that moves at a breakneck speed, there exists a silent yet profound force that subtly erodes our essence, our connection, and our potential. This force, known as sloth, is often misunderstood as mere laziness. Yet, it is far more insidious, affecting not just our actions, but our will, our spirit, and our collective soul. Modern life, with its incessant demands and digital deluge, often acts like a sedative on our spiritual consciousness. This ceaseless hustle, the barrage of information, and the allure of material comforts can lull our inner selves into a state of dormancy. Much like a sedative dulls the senses and clouds the mind, our daily routines and societal norms can numb our spiritual instincts and dim the vibrant energy of our souls. In this state of induced slumber, the profound lethargy of sloth finds fertile ground. It is not just about physical inactivity. It is a deeper, more insidious form of inertia that seeps into our thoughts, muffles our aspirations, and stifles our spiritual growth. We drift, almost imperceptibly, into a life of superficiality where the noise of the external world drowns out the quiet, persistent call of our spiritual selves. Recognizing this modern sedation is the first step in awakening from it. As we unveil the true nature of sloth and the forces that perpetuate it, we begin to see beyond the haze. It is a journey of clarity, of shaking off the stupor and rekindling the vibrant spirit that lies dormant within. In reclaiming our spiritual vitality, we are not just awakening from a slumber, we are breaking free from the sedation that modern life imposes, rediscovering our true selves, and embracing the fullness of our spiritual potential. Today, we peel back the layers of this modern manifestation of sloth, revealing its impact on our lives, our societies, and our inner selves. It warrants reinforcement. Sloth is not merely physical laziness, as erroneously perceived. We will not be overreacting in calling it a sinister force that undermines our spiritual vitality and potential for growth. It represents a profound lethargy of the soul, a refusal to engage with the gifts of existence, and a withdrawal from the responsibilities towards oneself and the community. In its essence, sloth is not just a lack of action, but a lack of will, a resignation from the active participation in the tapestry of life, where each thread we weave contributes to the larger picture of our shared humanity. In this era of boundless abundance and technological marvels, we find ourselves trapped in a paradox of plenty. Despite having more than ever, a vital piece seems missing. Our lives, a relentless chase of acquiring and consuming, reflect a deep imbalance. It is a race that never satisfies, as each new possession, homes, cars, gadgets, offers only a fleeting satisfaction, leaving a hunger for more. As we roam the world, seeking wonders, we often overlook the most profound journey of all, the exploration of our inner selves. In this endless pursuit, our senses are constantly bombarded, leading us astray into a cycle where more wealth, more pleasure, more recognition only feed the vices of greed, pride, and envy. This seduction, deeply ingrained in our society, exploits our insecurities, making us believe that fulfillment lies in excess. But as my wise mother often said, too much of one thing is good for nothing. This truth highlights the folly of our ways, reminding us that real happiness does not come from merely acquiring things. Our relentless striving, a constant march towards elusive goals, lacks the balance of inner stillness that nourishes the soul. Recognizing this is not just an individual or societal issue. It is a spiritual emergency. It is a wake-up call to break free from the chains of insatiable desire and embark on the most noble journey, the journey within. It is here, in the sanctity of our inner lives, that true abundance and peace await. In our today's world, it is easy to get caught up in what we see on the screens and in print. We often take things at face value, believing what is presented to us without questioning. Our lives are filled with flashy images and stories meant to impress us. But many times, they are far from the truth. It is like we are being lulled into not seeing things as they really are. We have started to lose our ability to tell what's real from what is not. This skill, this power to know the truth, gets weaker the more we let ourselves be dazzled by the world's glitz and glamour. My dear mother used to say, all that glitters is not gold. And she was right. Just because something looks impressive does not mean it's valuable or true. We need to find our way back to understanding what is genuine and what is fake. Fancy clothes, big cars, and huge houses do not tell us who someone really is. As people, we need to reconnect with our intuition, our inner sixth sense that helps us spot someone who is not being honest from a mile away. It is high time for us to learn or relearn the basics of understanding our world and ourselves. Call it Spiritual 101. We need to get back to a place where we can trust our instincts and see beyond the surface to the real truth. Admitting the truth about ourselves isn't always easy. In fact, it can be downright tough, especially when it comes to things we would rather not face. Living our best life requires real effort, a kind of commitment that is genuine and deep. It is not about making half-hearted attempts, but about being truly present and engaged in our own growth. Breaking free from our addictions is a huge part of this journey. And let us be clear, we are not just talking about the addictions we hear about in the news, like alcohol or drugs. It is also about those habits we might not even recognize as addictions, like overeating, spending too much time on social media, thinking negatively, or even shopping too much. These are the habits that sneak up on us, and they are often the hardest to shake. But here's the thing. Even if we had the solution to all our problems right in front of us, our fear of the unknown can be so overwhelming that it stops us in our tracks. We are often more comfortable sticking with the familiar, even if it's hurting us, than we are at trying something new. But embracing the desire to grow, to be more, that is where the real change starts. Once we admit that we can be more and truly commit to it, doors start to open. But we've got to be cautious. Quick fixes and shallow relationships would not get us where we need to be. There's no magic word or simple trick to becoming our best selves. It is a path that requires dedication, discipline, and a whole lot of willpower. It is easy to think that once we are adults, taking care of ourselves and managing our lives, we have made it. But that's just the beginning. Sure, we might know how to look after our physical needs, but there's so much more to learn and grow into. Real growth starts once we acknowledge that we have only just begun to tap into our potential. When we constantly give in to our senses, we start losing control over our desires. With everything so easily available and the media always tempting us, our cravings get stronger and harder to ignore. This constant temptation leads us to make choices that might not be in the best interests for us. Whether it's the food we eat, the people we spend time with, the conversations we have, or the movies we watch. These choices, driven by our senses, can have a long-lasting impact on our lives. But there is more at stake here than just making poor choices. When we are always chasing after what feels good in the moment, we lose our ability to create something truly valuable and meaningful in our lives. What we think we want is often far from what is truly good for us spiritually. It is like we have become disconnected from our inner spiritual selves, led instead by the cravings of our body. We forget that to reach our highest potential, we need to include some of that original spiritual part of ourselves in the mix. But we have lost touch with that part. We are satisfied with quick fixes, and in the process, we have lost or forgotten the powerful natural ability to manifest our reality. We don't even realize this power exists. So how can we hope to develop it? To reconnect with this ability, we need to start by acknowledging our spiritual side and recognizing the power of our thoughts and intentions. We need to slow down, control our cravings, and make more mindful choices that align with our deeper values and spiritual goals. This means taking a step back from the constant sensory overload and creating space for quiet reflection and deeper connection with self. It is about remembering that we are not just physical beings driven by immediate desires, but spiritual beings capable of creating and manifesting a life of true depth and meaning. By reconnecting with this part of ourselves, we can start to rediscover the magic and power of manifestation, turning our thoughts and dreams into reality. Our reluctance to engage with, or in some cases even discover our spiritual selves, is leading to a dangerous imbalance. We are losing touch with the very part of us that tempers our more primal animalistic instincts. As we drift further away from our divine nature, we witness a rise in harsh, even brutal behavior. Our societies are becoming more divided, with the values of unity, compassion, and togetherness seeming like relics of a bygone era. But this makes me wonder, is this disconnect an accident? Or is it by design? How is it that we have so much energy for fun and entertainment, but cannot spare a moment for spiritual reflection? It is almost as if there's some kind of mental virus that is erasing our desire to seek spiritual truth. I am not pushing any specific spiritual path here, but it is troubling to see how the pursuit of spiritual strength has fallen out of fashion. This apathy towards the spirituality is not just a passing trend. It is a critical issue. If we continue on this path, embracing our base instincts of conflict and destruction, we risk not just our moral and spiritual decay, but our very existence. We need to wake up to the reality that our spiritual health is not an optional luxury. It is a fundamental part of our being that ensures balance, harmony, and the preservation of our shared humanity. It is time for us to challenge this mental virus, to reclaim our spiritual heritage, and to recognize that our survival and thriving depend on it. We must rekindle the yearning for spiritual depth and resilience. Not as a nostalgic nod to the past, but as an urgent, vibrant call to action for our present and our future. Let us reclaim our authentic selves, the spiritual beings that we truly are, navigating the human experience with grace and wisdom. We must resist the tide that seeks to dull our senses and dim our inner light. It is time to stand firm against the forces that push us towards superficiality and emptiness. Let us embrace our spiritual heritage with vigor, understanding that this is not just an aspect of our lives, but the very essence of our existence. Awaken your spiritual self from its slumber. Nurture it with mindfulness. Feed it with introspection, and let it flourish through acts of compassion and connection. It is in this reawakening that we will find the strength to counter the disconnection and discord that plagues our societies. It is through this inner flame that we will illuminate the path to a future where unity, empathy, and understanding prevail. This journey back to our spiritual roots is not a solitary one. Share your journey, encourage others, and let your voice be a beacon that guides others to their own reawakening. Together, we can shift the collective consciousness towards a more harmonious and spiritually attuned world. So let us begin. Let us rekindle the inner flame and embrace the fullness of our spiritual potential. It is not just a path to personal fulfillment. It is our duty to ourselves, to each other, and to the generations that will follow. As we stand at this crossroads, confronted by the shadow of sloth in its modern guise, we are called not to despair, but to awaken. This is not just a call to action. It is a call to transformation, a journey from the inertia of sloth to the vibrancy of spiritual awakening. Let us then embrace this challenge with courage and hope, knowing that each step we take towards our authentic selves, each moment of introspection, and every act of compassion lights a spark that can dispel the darkness of sloth. Together, let us rekindle the inner flame, weaving a new tapestry of life that is rich with purpose, unity, and spiritual fulfillment. This is our time to rise, to shine, and to truly live. In our relentless pursuit of more, we often resemble those two monks from an old Buddhist tale, each striving for recognition in their own way. One monk busied himself with repairing and tending to the monastery, believing that his tireless physical labor would prove his worth. The other monk, however, chose a different path. She sat in quiet meditation, seeking wisdom, not in stones and mortar, but in the stillness of her mind. In the end, it was the meditating monk who was honored, for her stillness spoke volumes more than the bustling activity of her counterpart. This tale echoes a profound truth that the essence of our being, our true spiritual substance, is not found in the frenetic pace of our daily toil, but in the quiet depths of our inner world. Today, much like the industrious monk, we find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of activity, mistaking motion for progress and noise for substance. We are seduced into believing that the more we do, the more we have, the closer we are to fulfillment. Yet, in this endless chase, what we are truly trading away is not straw for gold, but gold for straw. The richness of our inner lives, the vibrant connection with our spiritual selves, is lost in the clutter of our ceaseless pursuits. Have you ever noticed when you try to be still that your body and the mind seem to resist the quiet, almost trembling with the need to move, to do, to distract? This restlessness is a sign of our disconnection, a testament to the frequency at which we have conditioned ourselves to operate, a frequency that drowns out the gentle hum of our spiritual essence. Let this realization be a call to action, a call to transformation. It is time to reclaim the stillness, to embrace the quiet wisdom that whispers beneath the noise. As we do, we align ourselves with a higher frequency, one that resonates with the profound truths of our existence, the unspoken harmony of the universe. In this alignment, we find our true essence, our spiritual substance, not traded for straw, but recognized and revered as the pure gold it truly is. Yet, as we peel back the layers of sloth, we uncover a more complex picture. Sloth, or spiritual apathy, when likened to an external force, such as a demon attack, reveals the involuntary nature of certain life challenges or mental states that seem to impose themselves upon us, despite our best efforts. In many spiritual traditions, these negative forces or demons symbolize the internal struggles, negative thoughts, or harmful patterns that besiege us. In this context, sloth can be viewed not as a mere personal feeling, but as a condition that might attach itself to someone, representing a metaphorical struggle against the forces that promote lethargy, apathy, or disconnection from our higher aspirations or spiritual well-being. As we journey together through this exploration of sloth, let us pause for a moment and turn our gaze inward. Have you ever felt a subtle force, almost like a shadow, clouding your spirit and your drive? This is where sloth, in its many guises, begins to cast its veil over our lives, often without our conscious awareness. Today, let us uncover these hidden recesses, recognizing the signs and understanding how sloth can subtly infiltrate our existence. Consider, for instance, the influence of our environment. If we find ourselves in surroundings that discourage activity, ambition, or spiritual growth, we might unwittingly slip into a state of sloth. Our innate desire for progress and engagement stifled by external pressures. Or reflect on the impact of psychological conditions. Mental health issues like depression or anxiety can cloak our lives in symptoms that closely resemble sloth. Lack of motivation, fatigue, or a sense of disconnection from our surroundings and inner self, leading us further away from our true path. And let us not overlook the role of societal pressures and cultural norms. In a world that often prioritizes material success over inner development, it is all too easy for individuals to inadvertently neglect their spiritual or personal growth, falling into a state of spiritual sloth without conscious intent. Even life events or trauma can cast us into a state of paralysis or apathy, where the ability to move forward or engage with life seems beyond our reach. In recognizing these multifaceted roots of sloth, our approach to overcoming it must be one of compassion and understanding. We must acknowledge the complex interplay of personal, psychological, and environmental factors that contribute to this state. And here lies our path to liberation. Embracing spiritual practices, engaging in mindfulness, seeking therapy, and building community support are not just steps, but leaps towards reclaiming our vitality and purpose. These tools empower us to break free from the attachment of sloth, guiding us back to our true essence and awakening the vibrant spirit that resides within each of us. As we stand at this pivotal moment, aware of the silent yet profound force of sloth and its multifaceted nature, we are called not to despair, but to act. This is not a summons to mere physical busyness, the kind that fills our day with noise and haste. Rather, it is a call to profound, purposeful action that resonates within the depths of our being. In this quest, the difference between laziness and sloth becomes our guiding light. While laziness is an occasional visitor, tempting us to choose ease over effort, sloth is a more insidious dweller in our hearts, whispering tales of apathy and disconnection. Recognizing this intruder is our first step toward liberation. Our journey is not a battle against sloth with swords and shields, but a gentle, steadfast awakening of the soul. It is a path paved with mindfulness, compassion, and a deep, unwavering commitment to our spiritual growth. As we thread this path, we find that every step taken in awareness, every act of kindness, and every moment of genuine introspection acts as a beacon, dispelling the shadows of sloth. So let us embrace this journey, not with trepidation, but with hope, for in the heart of our endeavors lies the promise of awakening, the rekindling of our inner flame. Together, let us step forward into the future, where our actions are aligned with our deepest truths, where our days are filled not with mindless toil, but with mindful living, and where sloth finds no shelter in the vibrant garden of our spirits. Thank you for walking this path with me today. Until we meet again on the next Wisdom Wednesday, may your journey be filled with light, love, and the profound peace of an awakened soul.